These puddle lights on a 5th gen Toyota 4Runner are not very bright. I got a kit from Miso Customs. We're going to change these out. Hopefully it solves our problem. Here's everything you need for this kit to change out those puddle lights on this 2019 Toyota 4Runner. You're going to get this harness kit, and there is the part number. And don't worry, if you miss any of this, I'll have it linked in the comments and description. And then here are the pods themselves. I'll open that up to show you. There's a small little adapter harness that comes in there, and you get both pod lights. And if I can open one up, I'll show you the difference there between what the factory pod light and what this light looks like. Should definitely put out a lot more light. I'm going to disassemble the mirror, and I'm going to put these on. First step you need to do is start to disassemble the mirror. I've already taken this one apart slightly, cheated a little bit because it's hard to do with one hand, and I don't want these parts to fall. But I've already taken this top cap off. You got to take the top cap off first, and I'm going to show you where you see these tabs. So there's going to be a tab here and a tab there, and there's one right there on the side right there. That's what's holding that on. So when you go to take that off, just be careful. You could break that, but you're just pretty much prying from this bottom section and pulling that up. Next piece you have to take off is this section right here. And again, I've already got mine loose, but there was a screw there and a screw there, and I'll pull this back out so you can see this. You've got to take this wire out and take the bulb out. I went ahead and did that so I can get this completely off. The reason being is you've got to get these two screws out to put the new pod in. So if you look right here, I'll try to show you, there is a clip there. There is a clip right there. And there was another clip right in that section right there. So I started to pry from the bottom side, kind of pulling this up and out like that. That's how I got that off. I'm going to leave that bulb right there for right now. Now that we have this lower section of the mirror off the vehicle, you're going to be removing that screw and that screw to get this pod light off. Showing you the difference between the Miso light and the factory light there. And I have not put the screws in yet, but you want to find the correct one with that curve, the one that you took out. Line it up. You want to put the two tabs in, and then you're going to run the factory screws back in from the other side. They do have slotted areas right here where you can change the clocking, basically, of the way the word is there. So I did clock mine a little bit there just to make sure that they're the same. I'm going to make sure they're the same on both mirrors, but that's how I'm going to run these. So the end of the connector there is not compatible with Toyota's vehicle harness unless you put this adapter that they supply on there. So it is directional how it plugs in there. It's got a flat spot right here so it'll plug in. It's got these ridges to kind of stop it from unplugging. But what I like to do is plug it up, and I do use some electrical tape right there just so it's not going to come apart. On the vehicle side, you're just going to take the bulb out of this socket here, and you're going to use that adapter to plug in right there. Now what I'm going to do when I go to snap this on, I'm going to use this socket and put it in this area before I put the top cap on, just in case there's an orientation that this needs to be plugged into. I'm not sure that these lights will work until we have the rest of the harness connected. So I'm at least going to leave this accessible where I don't have to take all this back apart to get to it. I'm going to leave it somewhere in this pocket area where at least I only have to take the top of the cap of the mirror off. When you finish reinstalling that lower section, it should look something like this, where I've got that adapter connector right here, and I'm going to use this section right here where the light normally connected and where that jumper harness is. I'm going to tuck it in that section right there. I've started on the one on the driver's side as well, and this is where I'm going to show you that clocking could be important to you depending on how you're doing your lights. This one was set about that far over to the left, so if I want to turn it, I've got the screws loose, I can turn it, or I can get it just exactly where I want it and then tighten those screws down. On the driver's side, we've got this lower section back on, and we got the connector where it is right here. And since we don't know if these are polarity specific until we get done wiring this up, we're going to leave this cap off. But you take the bulb out of this section and you plug that adapter into there. And we may tape this up before we get done, before we put this cover back on as well. There are 3 parts to the harness, including the switch. The shorter section, that's going to go on your driver's side. This longer section, that's going to go for your passenger side. This right here goes to the back of the switch, and it's got independent plugs, one for the driver's side, one for the passenger side to go into. And then you've got this switch here where that's going to plug into the back. These are pass-through harnesses. So I'm going to show you where these connect on the driver's side and on the passenger side. I was working on a couple other projects on this vehicle, so I already had this removed, and I left it off knowing that I was going to have to get here on this part of the project. You're also going to have to take out this section here, and if you watched my previous video about the remote starter, I already had this off as well. This is the connector that you're going to get to, though. You're going to disconnect this connector, and you're going to plug in that pass-through connector, making sure this is the shorter side, the one that you want for the driver's side. So you're going to plug that back in to that spot right there, and then you're going to plug the factory harness onto this side right here. To give yourself enough room to put this panel back on, it may be a good idea to take this loose, and I wrapped the factory plug around the back side, and then here's where the jumper plug is going to plug in here. So the excess wire is going to be tucked behind here because this may be very tight, close clearance here. So I'm not going to risk that. I'm going to go ahead and have it tucked behind there before we go to put that panel back on. To route this wire, I'm going to follow all the way up this section. I've pulled the gasket back, but I'm going to run all the way up this edge here. There's a wiring harness. If I could point it out to you, I'm going behind that wiring harness right there. There's also a ground wire that I've used right here. I've used one of the factory bolts. I can pull that out of the way. And I put that ground wire right here on the factory bolt. That is the bolt that's going to be above where this plastic piece reattaches. So just be careful that your ring terminal's not facing down, because there is another bolt that gets installed back right here. So I've faced my ring terminal going up. My wiring on the driver's side is going all the way up because it's coming through right here. And that's also because we've got to come out right here to go to this switch. On the passenger side, very similar, where you've got to remove this piece here, and you're going to take this kick panel out right here. And the connector that you're trying to get is right here. So we're just going to take that connector off. You just press the tab. You should have to wiggle that out a little bit. Kind of hard to do with one hand, but there's a tab right there. Wiggle that out. You're going to use the longer connector, the longer harness section on this side. So you're going to plug into that connector, plug the factory plug into this side. I found it easier to run that connector down here behind that and kind of loop back up. This is the factory connector going into this section here. This is the harness connection going in here. So I found it easier to kind of loop that down so it's not going to stop this panel from going back on. So before I finish up the wiring on the inside, I was just double checking that everything is working the way it should. The lights right now, you can turn the switch on even if the vehicle is off, and you can turn the puddle lights on. On auto, if you unlock the vehicle or unlock the door, they come on like normal. I also verified that the polarity on this does not matter. So I'm going to go ahead and tie this up, put maybe some tape on that, and then I'm going to put this cap back on both sides. So this part of the project is complete. All right, we're going to be working on getting this wire from the passenger side over there towards the driver's side, and just wanted to show you underneath the glove box I've removed this panel right here. So there are 3 clips that are holding this panel on, and then there's just 2 tabs that it slides into. So once you pull down on this front section, you should be able to just pull this straight out. Another thing I wanted to show you is over here on the left side, right in front of the console area, you're going to want to take this panel off as well. So this panel right here is just pushed in a slot back there and 2 clips holding it on there. So as long as you pull on that section and pull this out, you'll be able to pass that wire through there. In preparation over here on the driver's side, we've done the same. We're removing this front piece on the lower side of the console here. You've got 2 clips here. You're going to pull out and then slide out. And it's just, this is going into this section right here where it slides into place. So we're going to do that so we can pass this wire through here. Here is where I ended up routing the passenger side. So I'm coming up this harness here. There is a factory capture clip right there. I've gone up and snapped into that. I've gone behind this section of the harness coming out right here. And we are running all the way around right here. And we do tie off. We go behind this because this is a vent right here. You don't want to go in front of that. You don't want to block that. So I went over that section and I come out and I follow this harness here. And I've decided to go towards this back section. It's a lot of open space right here. And I've got enough slack where this piece would snap back on and not be in the way. Also, something to avoid right here. Some people may go close to this section right here, there are moving gears right here. This is going to be where your air conditioning is shutting and closing certain things. So try to avoid this area if you can, or if you're going to. You want to go in front of that or go down. Make sure you've got it very secure. I just didn't want my wire falling down anywhere, so I know I'm nice and tucked up underneath here. Once the wire passes through over here on the driver's side, I did loosely put a zip tie right here. I believe this is a Freon line, so I didn't put this real tight. I come across here and I just zip tied it right there. We want to stay above this. This is the knee airbag right here, so we definitely want to go above that. We don't want to hinder this in any way. So I'm going up underneath here. There's a harness underneath the steering column that I reattached to. I could probably show you a little bit from inside here. Maybe a little bit easier to see. It is kind of hard. It's a little hard to reach into this zone. But we are, if you could see where my finger is pointing, we are down in this zone right in here, following along right here with this harness. And so I come along this area and I zip tie here because we're going to come straight up where we're going to go to this switch. So stay away from that airbag if you can. There are some harnesses up underneath there. You want to make sure your steering column can still go up and down without hitting anything, without hitting any of these wires. But here are both of the wires, the one from the driver's side and the one from the passenger side that will eventually go to the switch. In preparation for the switch installation, I went ahead and taped all these wires up because normally they just come exposed like that. And I think it looks cleaner when you do that. I did leave some length here on this green wire. This is for illumination. So at night when your headlights are on, the switch is going to illuminate if you connect that. If you don't want to connect it, you don't have to. You're going to be looking underneath the dash here. This switch right here has a green wire on the connector, and we're going to tap into that wire so it will illuminate this switch, because this is the factory switch that illuminates at night. It only illuminates when your headlights are on, and only does it at night. This connector plugs into the back right here, and it has a green wire. Now I'm showing you this right here because someone else had already connected into this wire and their wire came loose. So this purple wire is going into these two switches that were already added by somebody else, and they used a butt connector there. If you're not sure you've got the correct wire though, you can use a test light and just check that when you turn your headlights on that this wire here comes on. Normally, what I would explain for you to do is not to cut that factory wire, is actually just to cut the sheathing back a little bit, but don't cut the copper, and then solder your wire on. So this is kind of an example of what you should not do. And another thing, if you're going to do this, don't cut so close to the plug here. Again, this was done by somebody else, but I'm going to make this repair while I'm in here. Give yourself 3 or 4 inches back. They had plenty of space and could have done that way back here, and then would avoid this issue being so short near this plug. So if you do cut and put a butt connector, sometimes it is possible that you need to do that. Definitely use a good butt connector and do it further back this way. And one tip I like to use, especially when these wires are real small like this, if you do butt connect, I always like to double the wire over and then put it in there and crimp and make sure and yank on that to make sure you've got a really good crimp. But for my application here, I'm going to make the repair correctly here, where I'm going to actually solder this back together, and I'm actually going to make this a little bit longer if I can, because I also have to tap into this. To show you this repair, what I did was I did make a jumper wire, since it was very short right here to this factory connector. I did solder that together, and I put double heat shrink on it right here. I didn't want to make any other connections but that right there. This green wire is my illumination wire, and this purple wire was whoever had wired the previous switches in. So we connected those together, and this other green wire is the factory green wire. So I did solder all of that together to the jumper wire, and I put heat shrink on right there. I'm going to put it back in the factory loom and then tape this back together so we don't have any more issues out of this. All right, since it's bright outside, the best way for me to show you that the illumination is working is I've got a black towel over us here, and I will turn the headlights on, and you will see the switch that we've added right here has illumination. And then here is your factory switch that you tapped into. And these are the two that someone else had already installed for the light bar. that's on the front. So illumination is working, our repair worked, and we'll be able to see this switch at night. With the switch installed, you've got two different functionalities there. So if you turn this on, the lights come on even when the vehicle is not turned on, which is pretty nice if you just want some lighting on the outside of the vehicle. If you leave this in auto, it's going to work like it does with the factory. When you unlock the vehicle, they're going to come on. When you open the door, they're going to come on. So you've got those two functions, which is really nice. And like I showed you on that illumination, you'll be able to see this switch like you can your factory switches here. I'm not going to put all this back together just yet, but you would just reverse all the steps that I walked you through. Reason being is I've got a few more projects to do on this vehicle, so I don't want to snap all this back together yet because I've got to re-access some of these areas. This completes the puddle light installation from Miso Customs on this 2019 Toyota 4Runner. Hopefully you found this information useful or helpful. And if it was, please subscribe and share. And that's to the point.